the great journalist, Rene Syler.
Hey, hi, Karen. I drew
Hello.
on my eyebrows for you today.
Did
I
you? Let me
literally
see.
was like, I was,
Let me see.
I was like, if I'm going to be on with Karen, she shouldn't have to look at my 17 eyebrow hairs that I have. They just like, that's the thing that nobody tells you. And if young people are listening right now, please, for God's sake, stop plucking your eyebrows. You will regret this in your sixth decade of life.
Okay.
I hate it. Yeah.
Full
Note to
disclosure.
self.
Full
Yeah.
disclosure. People say they love my eyebrows. I've not touched my eyebrows in about a decade
See?
because I plucked them at 15 and 16, but I plucked them during the Brooke Shields era.
Uh-huh.
So,
Uh-huh. Yeah. You were trying to be different.
shortly thereafter, Thin was in, if you remember, right? That razor thin. Right. But Brooke Shields had the thick eyebrows. So I've plucked them and now they won't grow back, but it's perfect. I don't have to get them threaded. I don't have to do it. The eyebrows are just the way. So it is a double-edged thing. Like if you're going to pluck young, pluck them thick, keep them thick. Then when you hit 50, 60, the hair won't grow back anymore and you'll have perfect eyebrows. So there's that.
That's what, my mom, I feel like she was such a great mom. And she was one of those experiential teachers. So I was like, hey, I'd really like to pluck my eyebrows. And she's like, okay, here are the tweezers. My brows in the 8th grade started at basically the middle of my pupil. So imagine that, and went to the ends, right? I wish.
And you come to breakfast and your mother would just be like, okay, here's some eggs.
Did.
Nothing.
She did. Yeah, here you go. Nice job there, kiddo.
Hilarious. I was going to start with the mass shootings, but I don't want to. So here's what I'm going to do. Yesterday, I had Dr. Daniel Black on, author of The Coming and a host of other books, Black on Black, which comes out the end of the month. Get that pre-order. And he said something to me that I've been sitting with, like the whole interview. Like I've had to take a moment to digest. You ever talk to somebody and you just got to like almost sit in the soil of their words. Mm-hmm. So he said something, and I wanted to put this out for the people about men and men not touching each other. And I thought about that. So his book takes us through, the middle passages, and it's graphic and it's in detail and it is evocative and provocative and it's all of the things. And he's talking about this very traumatic experience and all that was lost, but all that we still have and all that we must reclaim and remember. And I was thought about that because I wonder how many of our listeners, male men, who have sons that they never hug, never touch, never hold their hands. And there's not an indictment. It's conditioning, because as soon as he said it, I was like, men ain't gonna do that. That's gay. No man is going to do it, even if they might be homosexual in the Black community, because that's going to be perceived as gay. So we've been so conditioned. But he was talking about how the intimacy of touching is, you lay hands on people. That's the healing process, the chest to chest, heart to heart hug, and he said Black men, they throw up that that arm, the bar in between, the brother man bar. So y'all ain't touching, or you bend over so you make sure no body parts touch. And I think about how self-conscious we are inherently about what it looks like, as opposed to what it should feel like to be touched, admired, loved. And, we get it. I think Paw will do it. Grandpa's going to give you that intimacy, but daddy's not. So therefore you miss out on something. And if you carry that through generations, just the touch on the head, the kiss on the head, the kiss on the forehead, the embrace, do we do that to our children? Because that is informing our children of a love that is unbreakable, that the world that you send them out into matters not, because at home somebody loves them. And if that somebody is daddy, and I had that, right? My father was, mildly affectionate, even if he didn't have it, but I was his little girl, and I just remember being on his shoulders. I remember all of the little moments, 3, 4, 5, and I know that both of my parents were happy to have me because I could feel it, I can remember being 2, I can remember being 2 in my crib, and they would play cards, smoke cigarettes, and all that. So I should have had asthma and stuff. I just remember, but everybody was doing that. I'm sure my mother smoked while she was pregnant too. No indictment. I'm just thinking back. But I can remember being 2 and having intimate moments with my dad and my mom. Like I can remember, and I'm sure that had to have an impact because I absolutely grew up feeling loved. Like, I knew that I was somebody loved me, and it made it possible for me to take on the entire world because ain't nothing nobody out here could tell me about myself. Because when I go home, I'm a hunter. My grandmother, it was her first grandchild. So it was like, I could do no wrong. So it allowed me to explore, like your mom, go ahead, cut off your eyebrows, do whatever you need to do. Cause I'm going to love you no matter whether you got half an eyebrow, one hair, don't matter. I love you.
I think you're absolutely right about the nature of unconditional love. And the world is going to show you that, we love you with conditions. Your boss, they love the job you're doing with conditions. They don't love you just because you're Rene Syler or just Karen Hunter coming in here. They love you because of what you perform and what you do. And what I got from my parents, and it sounds like you got it from your parents too, was you don't have to do anything other than just be. And this is a safe space for you. And we're going to love you. That doesn't mean we're not going to hold you accountable, because that's also love, accountability. But we really are going to be we're on your team. We're Team Karen. We're hunters. We're Team Rene, and that I feel sorry for, and it's sad for men who don't understand who haven't been exposed to that, men and women, because it's so special. That hug that you're talking about, when you were talking about, you could feel being enveloped in this warmth. When you have a real hug from another person, it's like your soul can exhale. And it's so critical in this day and age.
But I'm specifically today, the men who are listening, and this is a place of no judgment at all. And it was interesting. I did an interview because I'm doing a lot of pre-tapes. And I was talking with a woman who has a book, and she paused for a couple of questions that I asked. She was like, I don't get asked these questions. And it's like, I'm really, truly curious. Like, I want to have a conversation. I'm not trying to get you. I'm not trying to be right about anything. I'm not trying to, poke holes in anything that you've done. I want to exchange ideas. And she was like, you forced me to think about something I hadn't thought about. And that should be the relationship that we have with one another. Like, not to but even that's in love, right? Like, I want to know you. I want to know what makes you tick, and I want to challenge you. So guys, like, were you raised in a place where you were, whether it was spoken or not spoken, and it's usually not spoken, where you didn't feel comfortable expressing intimacy and affection with another man? Because you can go to places in Africa and see men holding hands and they're not homosexual. Mm-hmm. There's no thought about it. It's like, oh, this is my cousin, this is my brother, this is my friend. We can hold hands, and it's not, but this system that we're in, and what's really weird about it, the hypocrisy of it is, anyway, there's a lot of hypocrisy around even that, it's like, oh, we would never do that. Meanwhile, this whole ass island where you're, pedophile island, and you're defiling children and young girls, which is another whole thing. But, yes, but we no abortions. The God and the Bible Belt and all of this clutching of pearls. Meanwhile, the worst things are done in the name of the Lord. Right. But we can't hold hands. We can't hold our,
We can't show genuine love and affection without people putting something on that. It's this puritanical streak that runs through this, the Christian fascio, or whatever they're calling it these days, Christian nationalism, running right through that. And it's like, we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We're taking all of it and just saying, we don't want to have any part of it. We're not going to do it that way. And people are believing it and buying into it instead of questioning it. If you question it, there's something wrong with you.
Right.
Shouldn't we be questioning why it's not okay for men to,
Yes.
to hold hands in public, or to say, I was talking to a friend the other day that I used to work with. And at the end of the conversation, she was a producer friend of mine, but I've known her 15 years. And when we were done with the call, I said, you know what? I love you. I love her. And I am concerned about her in this next phase of her life. And I want her to be all that the world has for her and open up to that. I love her. And I just said it, and she said it back to me. And it was like, not weird or anything. It's just, this is how I feel about you. And I'm sure that there are people who think, the next time I'm going to tell them, that I love them. Don't wait till the next time. Don't wait. If it's on your heart, say it.
Say it. And
tell somebody.
Real good love is not sexual at all. That's sex. That's lust. Good love, 866-801-8255. Thank you, Lamar. Lamar in Nubia says, my sons get all of my love and hugs and stuff. I expect that of Nubians, though. Y'all evolved. There's a high vibration. I expect that of Nubians. But yes, and if you're uncomfortable, like my dad and I, in his later years, we got to have a conversation about the lack of love that was in his home, and and it hurt him. But he got to talk to somebody. And it was great that, as his daughter, he got to talk to me about, never hearing I love you, never having any affection. And it took him a long time to get, and I'm complicated as a human being. So my father was just still trying to figure me out, like, what kind of child did I give birth to? Because her mouth, oh my goodness. But, we ended up becoming friends, and it was interesting to hear. And I got to understand him in a way that I know nobody on the earth understands. And that was special, to be able to know your parent in a way, because of his vulnerability in that moment of us playing Scrabble for 3 hours on a Sunday, every Sunday. But anyway, 866-801-8255. I don't want to well up. I missed that man.